Hi everyone. It's now near the end of April and we're right at the very end of repotting season for temperate variety bonsai such as this juniper here. Now I'm hoping to show this tree later this year, and although this has been a good growing pot for it, it's not quite the right pot for this tree to be shown in. It's a little too deep and it's a little too strong for the movement of the tree. So I thought I would try the tree in this oval pot over here. But before I repot it, I've got some work to do on the tree. Specifically, I need to do some work on the deadwood over here, and I also need to take off the wire that's on it. So we'll start out with the deadwood. And since we're going to use a Dremel tool, the rule is use eye protection. And so we'll get started on this here. Now we're just going to try to debark the deadwood and make it look natural. Nothing fancy here. And this is just a little inexpensive Dremel tool with a bit on it that's ordinarily used for woodworking. We've finished cleaning the deadwood and revealed some beautiful color, which unfortunately is going to fade as it bleaches. And at this point we're starting to remove the old wire off the tree by cutting it off. Now, as a general rule, it's best to cut the wire off if it's thicker, but in some cases it's better to unwind it if it's really thin, because cutting it may get you a little too close to the tree's branches. But we're just going to work our way through here and cut off the thicker wire. Try to get the cutter in here without bending or breaking anything. And unfortunately, that can be difficult when you put really intricate bends in the branches, as I have with this tree. So we got this piece of wire here, and that's the end of it. And then the thin one, we're probably going to be better off just carefully unwinding like this. Okay, and that piece is out of there. And then we've got some more thin wire here. Now, wire removal technique varies from species to species. With a juniper, the thin branches are still pretty pliable, and generally unwinding the thin wire doesn't do any harm. So we just go around, go from branch to branch. And this is really difficult here. We have just a little bit of wire left to get off of the tree now, and it'll be totally free from the wire that we applied last year. And what we typically do when we're cutting off wire is we go at the side branches from underneath, and if there's any on an upper branch like this, cut it from wherever it's most easily approached. And this last piece, actually we don't even need to cut it, it just spiraled right off of there. Okay, so at this point the tree is completely unwired and the branches have taken a set very nicely. So I'm not going to have to do any more wiring between now and when I show it. The next step is to take it out of the pot. And for that, we'll take our gardening trowel and we'll work our way around the edges. And I'm also going to put on a leather work glove when I grab the trunk to take it out. That's not so much to protect me as it is to protect the tree. Now, this tree has been in this pot since the spring of 2009, I believe. So at 3 years in, well, no, actually I think it's been in here since about 2010. It's been about 2 years. Okay, the tree is lifting right out of the pot here, and I have it. And now we'll take it over to our wagon where we can start working on the root ball. Okay, so what I'm going to do is tilt the tree forward and hold it with one hand while I break up the soil with the other using the cultivator. And then this is actually in pretty good shape. It's breaking up fairly easily. Now what we'll do is tilt it on its side. Because the roots are mostly fine and evenly distributed, this should be a fairly easy pruning job as well. We've pruned the roots so that the tree will fit in the new pot. The only thing we have to watch out for now is if we plant it flat, it's going to lean too far forward. So when we put the soil in, we're going to mount it up on the front side of the tree in order to give it the correct trunk inclination. So we'll move the tree off now and place that right on the table like that. And we'll put soil in the pot and get it ready to receive the tree. This is my usual soil mix. I've leaned it out a little bit on the organic matter because this is a juniper. It's maybe about 20% organic, and you can see by the coloring that the mix is mostly decomposed granite pumice with a little bit of builder's sand. And we're just going to spread a thin layer across the bottom of the pot. And then we're going to heap it up a little bit on the front side in order to get the tree in at the correct angle. We've jockeyed the tree around in the pot quite a bit and come up with this as our final planted angle. Let me make sure I got all the weeds picked out of here. You always get a few stragglers even if you wash the soil out real good. And then we'll just fill our soil in around the tree, same as always. Make sure it goes in nice and tight around the sides here. Now you'll see the roots are a bit flat on the back here. That's because it was in a square pot, and then we had to take the corners off in order to get it into this oval pot. But all in all, this was a very minor root reduction. And the tree fits in this pot very nicely. I like very much the way the trunk looks in this pot. So we just keep filling in with soil here. Okay, we're going to water it until we start to see what little dust remains in the soil running out the bottom. Now I get my decomposed granite and my pumice pre-washed and sifted, but even so, you still get a little bit of dust that comes out the bottom of the pot. You can see it down here in the runoff. And that's how I know that the water's penetrating all the way through the soil. Here is our juniper after the repotting. Free of wire, in a new pot, much more suited to its appearance. Not quite ready for show yet. There are still some detail things that we have to take care of. But all in all, looking much better than it did before we started. So let's do a little 360 and show you where it is now. Thank you for watching, folks.